All right. Not on the Sportster anymore. Sold it. And I'm going to make a short video here. Video that I wish somebody made maybe like a year and a half ago when I was looking for a bike. I assume that most of the people that follow my channel or watch my videos do so because they're interested in a Sportster 72. And I'm going to talk about why you probably shouldn't buy a Sportster 72. And really because the reasons why I had to sell mine. I didn't want to sell mine. I loved a lot of things about the bike, but it just didn't fit with what I needed and how I ride. So I'm going to list the three main reasons why you probably shouldn't buy a Sportster 72. But again, it's not because I really hate on the bike. I loved a lot of things about the bike. It's just why the bike doesn't work for a lot of people. The first reason is obviously the fuel capacity. So Harley puts a 2.1 gallon peanut tank on that bike. And I know why they do it. They do it because it looks awesome. I mean, you look at the bike and all you see is the motor because it's got this tiny little fuel tank on it. But it's not very practical. 70 miles is about what you get out of her. And, you know, when I bought the bike, I read, okay, 70 miles. Nothing wrong with that. That's as far as I go without stopping anyways. But what you got to think is how that, you know, going around the city that you're familiar with and areas that you know, that's fine. You know where the gas stations are. But if you ever want to take a trip, that bike's not going to work for you because as soon as you hit 55, 60 miles, you gotta start looking for a gas station. And if you're in an area that you don't know, you run out of gas quite quickly. So it really boils down to, you know, taking it on trips. You know, if you need a bike that you want to take on longer trips, 72 is not going to work for you because of that small tank. I had a situation where I almost ran out of gas earlier this year. After stopping in the country, looking on our phones to find a gas station, taking a detour, we ended up finding one, and I pumped the fuel in there. Sorry, and I had less than a liter in that tank. So really, about 8 miles or so is as far as I could go, and that's after getting split up from the big riding group that I was with because I had to fill up for gas earlier than anyone else as well. And, you know, so it just kind of sucks. It kind of sucked being that guy with the small tank to make people stop, and wasn't enjoyable. So that's reason number one. Fuel capacity. No good. But everyone knows that. The thing to remember is, you know, even though you think that it's okay, that you're only going to go 70 miles, there's going to be situations where you get lost, you're with a riding group, you want to go someplace new, so just keep that in mind. The second reason is two up. So I'm really lucky I got a wife that likes riding with me, and we could not ride two up on that Sportster. I think I took her out maybe a total of 3 times last year, and we did, you know, hour road trips on my old Honda Shadow before I had the Sportster. We enjoyed it, but not on the Sporty. The suspension's not made for it. In my opinion, the frame is not made for it, and the bike just doesn't really handle two-up riding very well. Yes, you could put money into it. You could put new suspension on the back and go that route with it. If the other issues with the bike, you know, if you're never going to leave the city and you don't want to go on road trips, the motor handles riding two up fine. It's just not the most comfortable because you're a bit crammed, and the stock suspension is clearly not made for it. The final reason why you probably should not buy a Sportster 72 is instability at speed. And I watched this other YouTube guy, forget his name. I watched him because he had a Sportster 72, and then it just disappeared. He had an iron, and he's got like a Street Glide now and an Indian and stuff. And in one of his videos, he talked about why he doesn't have the Sportster 72 anymore. He said he sold it because it scared the shit out of him. And now I kind of know what he was talking about. And it's just that bike, the 72 model Sportster, has got everything that makes a bike unstable. It's got a skinny front tire, it's got ape hangers, it's a lightweight bike, it's got narrow front end with thin forks. You know, if you have one or two of those things on a bike, you're all right. But if you get them all, like the Sportster 72 has, you have a good shot of getting some high-speed wobble. Now, normally, it would only wobble if I was being stupid on it, which wasn't very often. But earlier in the year, I was trying to beat some rain just on the highway with the damn thing, going 70 miles per hour. Here in Canada, our speed limit on the highway is 60 miles per hour, 100 kilometers an hour. And we were just doing, basically 10 over, which is what everyone does. So we were getting passed by some cars, and we had to pass some trucks. The bike wobbled non-stop for half an hour. The whole time on the highway, it was wobbling. And, it could be anything, right? You think loose spoke, bad steering bearing, you can neck bearing or whatever it's called, alignment issue. Who knows? Could have been any of those things. Except I'm kind of OCD about my bikes, and I knew it was none of those things. I always check that stuff, and I knew it was good. The next day, I took it out, same stretch of road, same speeds, and it was smooth as butter, no issues. So I'll tell you what it was. It was the wind that day, and I was consciously not gripping the bars tight because I knew it was the wind. And it's just because you got mini apes on that lightweight frame, on that skinny tire with the narrow front end. It's just going to happen. The wind buffing your shoulders, because the bike's so light and narrow and the front end's so light, it's just going to wobble sometimes. And I did not like that. It was a scary ride for me. I really couldn't go over 120 kilometers an hour on that thing that day. And when you're trying to pass transport trucks safely and, get out of their blind spot and the bike's wobbling all over the place on you, it's a nightmare. So that's the third reason why I sold it. And, that doesn't happen all the time. That just happened to me on certain days, certain wind conditions. Usually if I was wearing a bigger helmet too, if I'm wearing a 3/4 helmet or something like that, it seemed to be more prone to it. That could have been just a fluke. I don't know. But those are the three reasons I sold it. Instability at speed, couldn't take my wife out, and it couldn't go anywhere new. And I want to go new places without being able to worry about it. I was finding myself on these beautiful roads and just not enjoying it because all I was looking at was the damn odometer clicking over 55, 60 miles, 65 miles. And I'm thinking, well, where the hell's the gas station here? This is... that's all I'm thinking about. So, I got a really good deal selling it. I got this for a good deal. It's one of the new lowriders. Not brand new, used, but I'm happy with it. It doesn't get the looks that the Sportster 72 got, obviously. That bike was a looker. I mean, I'd have people pulling up next to me at stoplights telling me how awesome the bike was. It won awards. I'm from a smaller city, but, there's like bike meets in the area. And it won awards, best Sportster, after putting minimal work into it. And, it was just a really cool, fun-looking bike. It was great for blasting around the city. It had an excellent power-to-weight ratio on it. It was very, very fun and snappy. But, I needed a bike that I could go places on, and I needed a bike that I could take my wife on, and that was a bit more stable. So that's why I let her go, and that's why I'm on the lowrider. We are getting ready for a trip. Actually, tomorrow we're going up to Collingwood, Wasaga Beach. There's a big bike rally up there. We're going to spend a couple nights in Collingwood and rip some of those roads up north there. And I'm going to rip the mic out of the helmet and stuff. So I just wanted to do a short little video on the Sportster 72 again, because I wish somebody made that video for me when I was looking. But it's really, you got to make sure the bike fits you. That's the big thing. And hopefully I can offer, I've offered a little bit of insight on that, so you can make a better decision with regards to buying it, and you don't end up like me having to sell it in a year later and buying something else. But like I said, if you just hang around town, you don't really ride two up a lot, you really want a bike that looks good, the 72 is still a good bike. And keep in mind as well, I've heard numerous people say that this is the last year that you can get one. Harley's discontinuing it in 2017. We won't know for sure till the dealer thing in August or September, whenever it is. But if you are looking at picking up a new 72 off the lot, you may want to do it, this year. So that's it. Maybe I'll bring the camera on our road trip. Maybe not. If I do, I won't be, vlogging with it. I'll just be kind of capturing some footage. There's some nice roads up there. Peace out.